Hey, I'm the composer Andrew Lloyd Fry, and this is an analysis slash overview of the piece Petrushka by Stravinsky. So this one, Petrushka, is a pretty big piece, and it's going to be a little bit more overview than analysis. So I'm just going to talk about kind of the big picture. There's a couple things I'll pick out that I think are interesting musically from an analysis perspective, but there's like so many things you could talk about on this piece. So probably more than anything, I just want people to listen to this music. This video is about encouraging people to listen to Petrushka. It is one of my all-time favorite pieces of music, and it's extremely bright, and there's a lot of just celebration and joy and certain parts of the music that are just, I don't know, some of my all-time favorite moments in music happen in Petrushka. So, little context, Stravinsky did the Firebird. It was a huge hit, and that project, he was like, it wasn't really his project. He was like, I don't know, maybe like the fifth composer asked to do the music for it. So like the story there, it might have already even been choreographed. So Firebird's very much like more soundtrack-ish, where it's like, here's the project, make something that fits this. And Petrushka is very much Stravinsky's project. So the original idea was his, and it's kind of like everything else fit the music versus the music fitting everything else. So he had this idea to do a project about puppets, which doesn't sound like a great seed idea, but it's puppets at a fair. And so we kind of, the whole piece, there's this kind of dichotomy of scenes of the fair, which is very bright, very celebratory, festive, and then so you have like those scenes, and then you zero in on the scenes of the puppets, and the puppets come to life, and there's kind of this love triangle where one puppet loves another one, but that one's with someone else, and so just it kind of goes back and forth between those two worlds, this like big picture of the fair and this zeroed in picture on Petrushka. And so it opens with the fair scenes, and then it goes to the like focusing on the puppets, and then goes back to the fair. And both of those fair sections are the bright sections, and then that middle is a kind of more weird, more mystical, So that's kind of the overview. So Petrushka is in love with one of the other puppets, who is with a different puppet, and there's some fighting, and eventually Petrushka is chased by the Moor, who is the puppet who is with his love interest, and they run out into the fair, and Petrushka is killed at the end. So, I mean, I would say not like a story that I'm gravitate to or think is, I don't know, but the music's so good it doesn't matter. So the first thing is we're opening, and it's the fair, and interestingly there's like these different musical ideas, and it's making these like fast cuts. So instead of like, here's this idea and it's organically developing, and we're putting it through these processes and, stuff like that. It's like, here's all these like ideas, and it's like idea 1, idea 2, idea 3, idea 1, idea 3, idea 4. And it's almost like a movie making these like really dramatic cuts. And that's kind of just like focusing on different pieces of this fair. But it's very notable, especially in context of like the time. It was just a very different way to organize music. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually the very opening flute thing. And a lot of what I wanted to talk about, or what that stood out to me, is actually melodic things, which some people say Stravinsky's not very melodically talented, or that's his weakness or something like that. Which, I mean, I think he just had a different type of melody thing. And I really like what he does with melodies, and it's, I don't know. So we'll talk about it. So this first thing, so this, for me, that's like the theme of this whole thing. I just like hear that, and it's, yeah, very symbolic of this whole thing. So Stravinsky does this a lot, where he'll like take an idea and he gets a lot of mileage out of it just by like chopping it up. So all of that was just like A to D, and sometimes he changes the rhythm, so it's like eighth notes, and then 16th note with like a dotted eighth, and then sometimes that's tied to a quarter. So that's idea one, D to A. And then the other idea, so that's it. And to make something that is just, I love it, out of such small material is something, he does that a lot, and I really like it. Okay, so the next thing, we're jumping ahead. This is like just a couple minutes in, and it changes to 5/8, so 5/8 notes per measure. And the flutes and oboes and clarinets have this pattern that's like this. Now you might have noticed that's like a pattern of 4. So he puts this pattern of 4 over this 5/8 measure. So what that does is every time it's playing out, that pattern is a new place in the bar. So then other stuff is doing this more chord stuff, but it's happening on the beat. So it's like, which it's like another example where you don't have that much material, but you're getting a lot of mileage out of it, because the way these things are lining up with the measure and with each other is constantly different. Okay, so that was that. Let's see. Okay. This is a little later in the piece. This is the description for this section of music is the puppets are brought out to the crowd and they start dancing for the crowd. So let's see. Okay, so this is what I wanted to look at. So this thing. So I don't know if, I can't remember on this one. I know The Rite of Spring has like a bunch of borrowed melodies. This kind of has that feel to me. So I don't know if there's some like folk Russian context to this. I wanted to point this out because this is another example where it's like there's only 2 things in that thing I played, where we have this idea. So that's almost just like straight up, straight down, but with a 8th note in there. So it's like super simple. So that's idea 1. Idea 2 is, so here's idea 1 and idea 2. Okay, so that's like the first thing that happens. And then he just makes these super simple, super small rhythmic tweaks. So again, idea 1, let's see. Now when he goes back to idea 1, he does this. So all he did was he moved the 8th note. So it's like a group of 16ths. And the first one, it's here. And the second one, it's here. So then idea 2 is the same. So I'll put idea 1, idea 2, idea 1, idea 2. I'll put that together. And then back to idea 1, but the original rhythm. And then idea 2 gets rhythmically varied. So this is just like another example where he's using really a small batch of material, but he just does these little tweaks with timing, with rhythm, that just gives it a lot of life. Okay, so next. Okay, so this is I'm skipping the middle section, which is kind of where it zooms in on the puppet world. And that music is much less appealing to me than the beginning and the end. I really, really love this stuff from the fair. So this cuts back to the fair after we've been in the puppet world, and maybe it cuts to the fair and then the puppets run out. I'm not quite 100% sure on that. So it's just this beautiful wall of sound. Let's see. And it's just it's not going anywhere. It's not like, you could analyze that as like, that's all a D chord with added notes, or you go in D, E, either way, this is not like a thing that's like traveling. It's just like this wall of all the orchestra doing that. And I just can't think of any example of anything like this prior to this point, where it's a little bit like minimalism, it's a little bit like ambient music, both before those existed. And it's just like this section, I could just have this section on repeat. So there's not really like melodic, strong, like lyrical melodic material. And there's just like little sparkly things here, and this is zooming up, but it's just, yeah. So it's hard to explain when it's like so good. So you have to listen to it. Okay, and then the last thing is we have all that kind of like ambient, cloudy stuff. And in the middle of that is this. Oh, wrong note. Oops. So it's like cloudy, and then that thing comes in, and then and I think that's the French horn. Oh, that was an oboe. I think the horn's later. And then it goes away, and that cloudy stuff, that this kind of thing, that comes back. And then this happens. And then it goes back to the cloudy thing. And then we have more open space. And then, let's see, did I skip it? Okay, well, not yet. So then, somewhere in there, this thing happens. The thing from the beginning. So cloudy thing, new melody with gaps, like big holes in it, and then that thing comes back, and then finally we hit this. Let's see, I'm on the wrong spot. So that was the thing, the melody that was coming in with the gaps, and now it's like fully there. So you still have this thing going, and you have the gapped melody, and now it's like all there. Now this this melody is notable to me because it's not It's more lyrical, it's more straightforward, but it's super good. And I again, this is another one I'm wondering if there's some like context, if this is borrowed from something. I'm not sure. Okay, I think that was all the sections. All right, please go listen to Petrushka. Please.